When I moved to Toronto 4 years ago, I wanted a space that was right downtown, close to the office, but also had this feeling of being in a big house, high ceilings, great views of the city. So when I saw this apartment, it sort of encapsulated the idea of a house that I wanted to have in the form of an apartment, so it doesn't feel like it's a confined, closed space.
When I first saw the space, I thought it was absolutely beautiful. It really lent itself to the look that Poonam was trying to achieve. It was a little bit dark, but really a beautiful space, and also one that really lends itself to entertaining, which I know was really important to Poonam.
When I was looking for somebody to help me design the space and make it my home, there was a couple of criteria that I was looking for. So one, somebody that had an aesthetic that was very neutral, modern, feminine. I also wanted somebody who was young and a woman, to be honest. I never told you this, actually.
No, you didn't.
Now, I'm a female leader in business, so I feel like there's a certain aesthetic with female entrepreneurs and female designers, and particularly young women, that I wanted to work with. And when I met you, I think it was just natural chemistry.
Yeah.
I just knew we would get along really well.
There was good synergy, for sure. Initially, I don't think the entrance was part of the scope, right?
Correct, yeah.
And it's very important that from when you walk in the door, you get a sense of what the whole space feels like.
For me, that space was literally storage in the beginning. But I had this vision that that space should be something that added to my lifestyle. And so I just wanted that space to be glamorous. I wanted it to still be in pastel colors. That space became an extension of my natural day-to-day life versus just a room that was something I wasn't using all the time.
Yeah, I think the multifunctional aspect was really important, and we sort of created that by putting that vanity in that can be used to get ready, makeup, hair. And a lot of the time with a vanity, we'll put just a stool that doesn't have a back on it. But obviously in this case, we did a really plush, luxurious chair in a light pink velvet, which I think, again, adds that sense of femininity to it. Poonam was very specific about using a really special wall cover. We went through lots of options before we actually found that one. Our ideas were to create an area where we can have some things showcased, like Poonam had said, for some of her really special pieces, but then also have some closed storage for items that maybe she didn't necessarily want to be showcased. We did those beautiful shoe shelves that are outlined with like a gold detail, and it's hard to notice, but we layer a lot of things with texture. So all the shelves behind the shoes are all wall covered with like a textured wallpaper, because I think it really adds warmth and, again, that luxury feeling to the room. The lighting, so what we did was in the center, because it's right when you walk in the space, we dropped 3 pendants at different heights, and I think that kind of grounds the space as well, with a beautiful tufted ottoman in the center. So when she does want to sit and hang out, or maybe have a smaller group of people have a glass of wine, it lends itself to that space as well, a little less formal.
Can I tell you, I didn't imagine we could do like rose gold even. Like, it's so funny to me, like, so much has gone on in layering that room that
there's a lot.
Yeah, it has become like not just a closet, but genuinely a hangout space, which is so pretty.
Which is so nice that it really is multifunctional.
One of the visions we had early on was, how do we actually create the aesthetic of the kitchen so it jives with the rest of the apartments and make it a bit lighter? And there was really no appropriate dining options attached to the kitchen either. And the space was rather small. So you will see that just attached to the kitchen, we've created this beautiful banquette that allows us to have views of the entire city. But again, without adding a whole lot of furniture, it's given us a pretty extensive dining option.
The kitchen created a sense of heaviness to the space, and it definitely needed to be lightened up. With that being said, ripping out a whole kitchen is a whole other beast. And I think that the bones of the kitchen are beautiful. I mean, they put beautiful appliances, a really nice oversized island. The cabinets were really great quality, so it just wasn't necessary. So what we did was we removed all of the cabinetry. We had them refinished. They were actually a wood grain before, a very dark wood grain, and we finished it with a painted finish. And then, like Poonam said, we added the banquette. One thing that we did there, which is not typical over a table, is you'll notice we actually put a very small light for the size table. And there was a lot of thought that went into that. We thought, instead of putting a really oversized statement light fixture, let's choose something that provides light but doesn't create like a focal area, more just blends in.
I remember showing Stacey a video of Kim Kardashian's kitchen and her banquette, because that was sort of the coloring
really
and
like
the
that.
zen feel that we were going for. And I feel like it's a great like miniature size of the massive kitchen that Kim has.
Exactly, yeah.
Obviously, the apartment's biggest feature in my mind are the views from the apartments. Not on a cloudy day like today, but we wanted a space that sort of preserved that. The challenge I found in the beginning when I bought the apartment, there was a black set of cabinetry over on that side where the bar is today, which sort of cut the apartment, I felt like, shorter than it needed to be.
Yeah.
And there was really no other sort of features along the wall.
Entertainment was a really important component to Poonam. And the bar was really created so that when they have friends over, they can entertain, but it's still an interactive space. And I know you really like the metal detailing and being able to expose some of the things in the bar area. And then again, we've used our layering technique. So you'll see behind the bar, we have a very subtle white with metallic detailing textured wall cover, which I think just adds that elevated feeling to it.
One of the visions we had was, because of the views, we created a bit of a reading nook in the corner where personally, like, I would have morning espresso every day because it just lets me sort of zen out and look at the city. And it's so private that unless you know it's there, you can't even see it.
It's like a hidden nook, kind of.
It is a hidden nook, yeah.
Formal was never in her vocabulary. It was all about comfort and peaceful and neutral, but a place that lent itself to entertaining. And I think that this is such a beautiful space that really lends itself nicely to having a sectional sofa. It allows you to maximize the seating. And then we created other little seating areas for people who sometimes want to sit in a chair or in something that's a little bit more structured, a bench.
Stacey did like tone down my passion for pink quite a bit. I wanted everything pink, and she would like walk me back from splashes of pink, but not have big pieces that were in full-on pink.
My reason for doing that is that we like to use color in easily changeable ways, because if we did an entire sofa in pink, I mean, that's something that's very hard to replace, right? And if you get sick of it, so we did tone it down. So instead we did a much smaller piece, like a banquette in the corner, but when you look at the whole room, it really does flood a lot of color into the space, even though it's a small piece, which I think is hard to see when you're just at a table looking at fabric swatches, trying to envision everything.
I wanted my bedroom to be just really cozy, comfortable, have this organic feel to it. The views from the bedroom are quite stunning. You can see all the way to Lake Ontario, all the way to Hamilton actually, which is kind of cool. So again, wanted something that was sort of in line with nature.
I think it's simple and beautiful. Poonam wanted something very specific, so we chose something, it's almost like a very light floral. Really beautiful pastel colors with night tables, a very simple upholstered bed from ELTE that Poonam actually found on her own.
Hanging lights as well, and then the curtains added a level of, again, luxury feel to the space, but practically speaking, particularly in the summertime when the light is so strong, also allows me to actually have complete blackout windows, which is great, yeah. So I was actually out of the country. I was in London at the time when it was completely done, and do you call it staged? What do you call it?
Yeah, like the final installation, I would say, when we do all the accessories and make the bed and all of that. So Poonam was actually away for that.
So I remember when I came back, I don't think I've ever told you this, but I've lived in 6 homes in the last 7 years, different cities, different homes. And I think it's the first time I felt like I came home in a very, very long time. So I had a very emotional reaction to the space. This is my home. This is where I want to be for a period of time. This is where we want to be. And, my fiance and the kids, they are here often. And hence the space mattered so much that could sort of transcend different phases of our lives as well.
I'm happy that you're happy with it. It's hard to, there's so many moving parts. We organize for all of the furniture to be delivered on 1 day or 2 days, and our clients, we ask that they do not access the space. I think it is really impactful to see it all at once.
I would agree. I mean, individually, like I had an idea of what that would be, but I think the sum of parts is just so much more powerful. It's just hard to even imagine that as a client, I'll say. And yeah, it was extraordinarily special to see it.